Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So I got a lot of projects going on today. Didn't have a video yesterday, but I did have two out the day before, so I guess that kind of makes up for it. So let me turn the camera around. I'll show you what projects are going on, and then we'll have to kind of organize the chaos that's happening in here. All right, first project of the day. I put a bunch of coats on this, and we went ahead and level sanded it with the Dynabrade sander. I did some drop filling right here. If you don't know what drop fill is, it's basically just the same lacquer that I spray on it, but I spray it into a mason jar and let it sit out and air off and off gas and kind of gets thicker and goopy. And then you take those drops and you fill in any kind of little places where the lacquer has gone down, you know, so that way you can level it. So I'm in the process of leveling this. I still got a couple more coats to spray on it until it's done. I burn through over here and we can take care of that with a black magic marker, spray over it and you won't even see it. What else we got? Oh yeah, that Dynabrade sander. I do not have it hooked up to dust collection or the dust collection system. It has its own self-contained vacuum, which is really awesome. But in order to run that, that's a pneumatic tool. I have to run it up to the reel, which goes over to the air compressor. Pointing the camera in this direction, you can see something new in the shop here. We've got our 16-inch Nova Viking drill press. Problem is, when they shipped it, they did not have the arbor, I think it's called an arbor shaft. Basically the chuck shaft or something. The thing that connects the chuck to the quill, I don't have that piece, so I had to email them and they're gonna send another one of those, but it runs, so that's very good. And that drill press is going to be situated on top of this drill press stand. We have all the hardware, it came in the mail. I don't have any screws shorter than 1 inch. I can't seem to find any like 7/8 or 3/4 inch screws. So I'm having to washer the heck out of these, so that way when I drill them in, they don't stab into the bottom of the drawers. So I have a ton of washers set up here. I got to set up for all that, and then we can screw those down, flip it over. I already do have a polyurethane sealant on there, so it's all sealed up on the outside. I didn't worry about sealing the insides of the drawers or anything, just the outside. And then of course that is the top once it's done. But again, it's not really gonna, all this extra work I'm putting into this, that's just for fun. It's gonna get scratched up and everything from that drill press. So I'm not too worried about it. What else we got going on? Here you can see I have a bunch of classifiers all over the workbench here because we are in the process of redoing this wall. And this is probably gonna be the main project for the day. So I got some metal detectors hung up on a little custom shelf I made for them. But what we need to do is I'm gonna drywall from here over with waterproof drywall or whatever that blue stuff is. And then just a regular sheet of drywall up top. And then we can start installing all of our powered gold prospecting gear, like all the water, my water table, the Miller table, the gold drop, the sluice boxes and all that stuff is gonna go right in this area. And since Heather doesn't wanna use this area for the office, for the pay dirt business, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm probably gonna shift this entire thing back to where it was originally. That way we have more room over here to work. I'm probably gonna get rid of that ugly little table and there'll be custom shelves and stuff all back in there. So that's the plan for today. We'll see how far we get. That's a pretty tall order. We got the casters on and now we have to install these pulls, these drawer pulls. So basically all I did is I took a square piece of wood, scrap wood, and I found the center of it. And then I basically just laid this on there centered and look, and then on the center line, I just put a little tick mark right there and there, just to make sure that when I place this on the drawers, I can just go ahead and drill straight through as a template after I clamp it, after it's centered. So that way every one will be exactly right. So I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that this fits before I use it as a template. All right, so now I just take this piece of wood, find the center of every drawer, and then I can drill the holes and install these pulls. All right, we're just installing the handles here, and we're at the very last one. This top drawer is a little bit smaller than these three, so the process is gonna be a little bit different, but basically all I did, I set this up so I can just set this right on the drawer below, and then line this up with the edge, push this over to it, and then those two holes, that's how those are exactly the same. So this one here, we're gonna have to actually measure it by hand, but it's a lot easier than having to measure all of them by hand. All right, let's go back home and install some drywall. All right, we've got the drywall unloaded and in the shop. After being sick, I've got like really shortness of breath and just feeling like I noticed it a lot, like when I first started to try to get back to work in here. See, when I had the virus, I had like real bad muscle pains. I remember that. And I felt like I had a really high fever, but I really didn't. It was like a lower fever, but I couldn't really move around much. And now it's like when I move stuff around, I feel winded. It just means I need to work harder, try harder. And so basically, we all know that the floor isn't level. So I put a couple blocks under this side. And then up here, I'm just gonna put like an 1/8 inch shim under that side, just to keep it up off the ground, even though this is the waterproof stuff. I have a drywall cutting tool. I'm just gonna zip straight down, and then this will pop right back in there. Then we can get that on there. Then we get our second piece up there, and then we'll have a wall that we could build shelves on. I did think originally that I was gonna leave this open, and then I'd be able to build shelves in there, which I did. But they were just ugly and not really useful, because you're only getting a half a shelf. So at least this way, I can put actual shelves, and it'll look a lot better, I think. All right. If I had one of those red buttons from Staples, I'd press it. It's the first time I'm doing an entire wall in 45 minutes, but I wanted to come up with a way to prevent all the time it takes to sand. And I don't mind if we have a slower drying than 45-minute mud. So I took a wet sponge and I went over pretty much everything. And I have never tried this before, but I think that if I removed all of the bumpy mud and everything from this wall with a sponge before it dried, then it would, I mean, logically, you wouldn't have to sand it, right? I mean, minimal sanding. So we're gonna let this dry. It's gonna take a little bit longer than 45 minutes, but that's okay because we have 3,418 other jobs to do in this shop. So now I'm prepping for the next job. So here we have the drill press on top of the new stand, which looks pretty nice. The problem is, once we move it, watch this. You see these drawers, they move. So I don't like that at all, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna inlay 1/8 inch by, I'm not sure what that is, 1/2 inch magnets right into there. And then on this side, we're gonna inlay, actually we're just gonna drill a screw, a drywall screw. We're gonna countersink it in here. And that way when we close it, the magnet contacts the screw, it clicks shut or just kind of holds it there a little bit, right? That's all we need. So before we start drilling holes into our new stand, we're gonna do a test here. So I already have it drilled. So basically I'm gonna see if this magnet fits in there. I might have to hammer it in with a little block first. Yeah, that'll definitely fit. I just didn't want to pound it all the way in because it'd be impossible to get out of there. So we're gonna go ahead and drill our holes over here. inlay our 5 magnets, one for each drawer, and screw in a screw to each door, just really small screws. I'm gonna have, here's the thing, smallest screws I have right now are these little 1-inch drywall screws, and that's too long, that'll go right through. So we're gonna have to cut some of these screws, the tips off of them, using this. You can see I've done it many times before with this disc. That way it doesn't bust through. We'll just pre-drill them. All right, we're pretty close to calling it quits for the night. I'll show you the progress of the day and then we'll call her. So I guess I can hang this back up. I've got the wall. The paint is still wet, but we've got a nice black wall there now. And now we're gonna build normal shelves. You can see the seam right there. I really don't mind. I'm gonna put a shelf right above that anyway, so that'll be covered up by the shelf. Won't even see it, and it doesn't really matter because if and when I move this all these partitions are coming down anyway. So there we go. In order to hang these correctly, I have to flatten those out, but we got that done today. We got that done today. We gotta clean this. I don't even wanna look at that. All this prospecting stuff and everything that I don't want to look at, it's all going to have a spot, and if it doesn't, we're getting rid of it. Drill press looks good to me, and a lot of people are upset that top is going to be kind of covered up, but trust me, that is a terrible job. What's coming next on actual guitars is going to be so much cooler. So there is a lot coming in the future for this channel. That now has a space. I could do a review on that Gibson Flying V that I purchased, and it's been sitting here in a pile for a week. And that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching.